What is going on, guys? We're going to be doing a auction recap, REA, and I'm going to change it up the series a little bit. We're going to do top 50 selling items at the auction. Now, if you guys like that format better than just going through random items, let me know. I still want to do some honorable mentions here at the end, but we're going to start off with this 1956 Clemente. It's a white back and a PSA 8. This one sold for $5,640. A very old PSA cert on this one. You can see that there. And I assume that's just shadows on how the card was specifically scanned. Let's take a look here on the back. I don't think this is the worst looking 8 out there. The hologram is almost destroyed on there. I mean, it's not bad centering. I mean, it looks like there's a little, maybe diagonal cut, just taking a look at the white space there versus here. And then you look at the top, looks a little bit gradual. But overall, it's a pretty clean card. I love the turkey red cabinet cards. This Ty Cobb sold for $5,600. Now it's a 1. It looks like there's a hole there, hole right there, 3. We don't have a 4th hole. Yeah, we do. It's just so small. Couldn't see that. And there's like rips there. And obviously from a technical perspective, that makes sense. Eye appeal wise, it's not too bad. I mean, obviously there's a stain and there's some paper lost there and rip, but you know, you could have a much worse card. And flipping over here to the back, interesting. That almost looks like it's an addition, this this tape right here. I don't know if you could technically get that off or not. Same with that side. I mean, the card would look a lot nicer if you could, but you can see those holes did make it through. The one on this side, I can't really see. Obviously that one showed on there, but very, very popular set. And I think these look awesome. I think they're going to be a lot more expensive though if they were smaller cards. King Kelly, the first $10,000 player, and his stuff's extremely popular. Just taking a look at this, I like the old judges. I only have one in my collection. I do want to get more in the future, especially on the non-sports side. I don't have any non-sports old judges. There's a few names that I'm really trying to hunt down, but 57 and 60 on that King Kelly, and obviously a little bit of a faded image on there. I think it was more vivid. It would go for more. It was an obvious comment, but it's what it is. All right. It says missing dots variation. I'm not too familiar with that variation. There's probably something I'm just obviously missing, but early Ted Williams, second year of Topps. His first Topps card was 1954. I hate that print effect right there. Don't like that at all. No, it's a clean card, but don't like that. I think that's hurting the thing. I mean, there's a print effect there. Is that what they're considering missing dots? Like the baseball's not complete also. Missing dots for the letter I. Oh. Well, that's the error. Interesting. And makes sense why this was such a high grade. I'm like, this is a big miss. And you can see it's a 0 certification. So I don't think that gets an 8 today with that big of a print defect right on the front. Although the corners and like colors look gorgeous, but with that and also a little bit of print defect here, I just can't see it getting 8. Although it's, again, very clean card. 54 Jackie in an 8. Another old certs over here. Let's take a look. And obviously, just to reiterate on these videos too, a few things. Number one, I'm viewing this on the internet, right? Like, I don't have these cards in hand, so that's just my opinion on this. And even if I do say stuff about the cards, they still are great cards. Don't get me wrong. And also, if you want anything in this auction, let me know. A little bit of chipping here on the edges, which is super normal for these 54s. Not the best centering here on the back. But, yeah, a classic Jackie card. A 1938 DiMaggio. There's two versions of this card. One also with the cartoons on the back. Let's take a look at this. It's a 3. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe a little rounded on the corners. But a clean 3. Some people call this a rookie, but DiMaggio has so many cards earlier than this. I've also heard people call the 39 play ball DiMaggio's rookie, and I scratched my head with that. Because DiMaggio has so many cards earlier. But even getting into this on the one price point, I think is a few grand. I'd rather get this 3. Just spend a little bit more, get a nicer copy. I'm sure there's a pretty big jump into 4s. I could be wrong, but nice DiMaggio. 77, 78 Topps basketball, an open box, 6,300. And it says rookies of Adrian Dantley and Robert Parrish. A lot of stars in there too. $6,300. I don't know much about basketball in comparison to Matt, so I can talk a little bit about it, but not as much as he would. $6,600 Alkaline PSA 8. Well, there's not much of a difference in pricing between the K-Line and the Super Late Jackie card. Jackie's obviously a much bigger name than Alkaline, but Alkaline was still a fantastic player. I want to say he had 399 home runs or 400 home runs, 3,000 hits. The best Tigers of all time. I think that might be a little generous down over there. But 6,600. Oh, the Bond Bread Jackie Robinson. This I like a million times better than the 1954, to be honest with you. And he actually has a bunch of Bond brand stuff. And this obviously predates his Leaf and Bowman. Take a look at the back. Not the best looking 3 at all. But very tough card to find. Up next, another 1955 and an 8. Probably the same like set break. I would assume with all these that are coming out. And already this looks way better without that print dot down below that Ted Williams had. And flip it over here in the back. Full printing over here. I think this is a way nicer 8 than that other one. Not a bad looking card also. Great copy. T205 Cobb in A4. These cards, they're always pretty generous with the chipping. Both PSA and SGC. And it makes sense. It's kind of like the 71s. I can't tell though if that's a crease right there or a scratch on the slab. And other thing I don't like about with T205s, with at least the PSA side of things, they don't label the back, which is a big miss. How are you going to label the T206 backs and then not label the T205s? And just a Piedmont, but still it's, I don't know. I think it's kind of lazy because the pop report's already ruined on these T205s. It would be kind of cool to see it spread out. T206 Young in a 5. This one sold for $8,100. I want to say fours right now are like 4 to 5 grand. So this was almost double a four. And I haven't seen a four in a while, so could be off. Good color, good centering and eye appeal. Oh, look at that. I wonder if that's a very old PWCC sticker. Has to be. You know what the thing is? I've actually never seen that sticker before. Unless it's a new sticker, but it doesn't look like it because I know what the PWCC stickers look like. Like I said, I have never seen one of these on a card before. Going through shows, looking at auctions. Has to be real old school PWCC. '54 Ted Williams in a PSA 8. This one sold for $8,100. Again, a little bit bad shipping. This copy, I don't think that with the tolerance of today, that would get an 8. The other 1954, technically first Ted Williams Topps card, centering on this one's it's a diamond cut. Look at it, it shrinks, and it's pretty left to right too. Way cleaner back though. You can see a lot less natural chipping. Kind of sucks because if this card was centered, it'd probably be a 9. '33 Gaudy Ruth. This got a 2. And pretty appropriate grade. Minus, and I know there's a little staining there. Probably why I didn't get a 2.5. I've seen a lot worse 2s out there. E98 on this Wagner red and an 8. This one sold for slightly under $10,000, $9,600. Clean card. And I want to say this is a set that there's a lot from the Black Swamp find, which is why price may seem cheaper than what it should be. $1955 Maze and an 8 $9,600. That is some bad slab scratching. You had to get that replaced before an auction. I mean, I feel though like you'd lose on bids with how bad that scratching is. I really do. I mean, it's not a bad card. It just that scratching definitely deterred some bidders. Another Maze in 8, 1954. Some centering issues, some print defects. Let's take a look at the border. Not too bad. That one sold for also slightly under 10 grand. 3MK. We broke the 5-figure threshold on this Babe Ruth. Want to see that's the mark right here. And also looks like there's a pencil mark right over here too. Some staining all over the back. I think that 2 was a cleaner card. I mean, look at that in the corner. That 2 earlier, much cleaner card. I'd rather have the 2. It's cheaper. Cobb in A4. Just a classic T206. 10,000 also. Dandy. I want to say that there's a lot of these out there that are in pretty high grade. This one has some sort of staining, unless this is on all of them, which I don't think it is, but I haven't seen a Dandy in a while. Oh, sorry, I wasn't thinking about Dandy. I was thinking about the dog food Mickey Mantle that there's still a lot of out there. Could be wrong. And the card is escaping me. I overheard it at a card show before. Tito 6, Walter Johnson in E5, $11,100. Sovereign back, little scarcer than your normal Piedmont that you see all the time. Where this week, Capital. I like the design of Sovereign's also nicer. '87, '88 Fleer unopened wax box. A lot of those high grades do pretty well. If you guys watched my top 30 basketball card series on eBay, you always see a few of those high grade ones. Even comments if they come back at 10, they do pretty well. And that's tough to say, like to open a box and expect a 10, but still, either you display this or you try to rip it open. And that's a pretty hefty price for some junk wax. Oh, I love this card. This is the Cycle variation, $13,000. And again, just to show you, like, they're very lenient on these T205s. Look what got a 2.5. Especially with older labels, super lenient on them. Why this matters, though, and it's funny because they actually label this one. If you go to the win column over here, you can see it is not the win column. What is it? One loss. Sorry. Right here, I believe it should be 11, not 1, if I remember correctly. And that's why the error occurred. Only happened with the cycles. I want to say there's 30-ish. 11 games. Doesn't say what the pop report is, but highly recommend. If you're trying to find a cool error card, this is one to grab. '1951 Maze PSA 5. Just your standard 5. Centering those isn't that great. $13,800 on the Maze rookie card. Whitey Ford rookie in an 8. Old cert. Doesn't look too bad. Put over here in the back. Not bad. This one was it $14,400. Look at this 1933 3.5 15.6. Another 3MK sold for 11. I'd rather spend $4,000 and get this one already. No mark. I still think that 2 was the nicest out of all of them. Even though it did have that staining. These corners aren't that great. It says it in the title, 36 packs, 1980, 81. Bird, Irving, Magic Johnson here on the box, $17,400. We're getting a pretty big jump, 24,000 Banks rookie in a PSA 8. I like when there's a little bit of space here at the very top. A lot of these you'll find don't. Personally, I like that. Sometimes the back gets impacted though because of that. And nice looking copy. Definitely one of the cleaner 54s we've seen. And it's a newer cert, so probably a reason why the grading a little tougher. 1933 Gaudi, Babe Ruth, 144, double print, 4.5. Put that over here to the back. Yeah, I don't mind this card at all. I think pretty fair 4.5 based off other 33s that I've seen. And that's why it sold for about 25,000. $55 Koufax in an 8. We've talked a lot about some Koufax signings. Imagine cracking the 8 to get that signed. How much value that would add to it. But some centering issues. The corners look pretty nice. $19.51 Mantle in a 5. Again, pretty bad centering. You see that happen a lot with the 51s. Not bad corners. No gum stains here on the back. 25,000. One that I don't think I'm too familiar with, Wolverine News Ty Cobb 1.5. 29,000. Pretty cool postcard. The 1 cent stamp. And extremely rare. One of Cobb's true rookie cards, it says. 17 examples between SGC and PSA. Love how they give it a 1.5 though with the postcards. I don't know, like I'm still split if they should ignore postcards that were used because that was the purpose of them. But then you open up the rabbit hole of like what happens with stickers. It continues to move forward, but at least in the postcard side of things, I don't think that should detract from value a lot. I know for some people it does. For me, it shows that this card was actually sent through the mail, which I think is pretty cool. 1933 Gaudi Ruth in a 4. Yellow. Pretty crisp corners. That one's not crisp. The top ones were. And no staining in the back. Be picky when you find your 33 Gaudi Ruth. That's all I'm going to say. 30 grand. 54 Aaron in 8. Again, one of those old certs that got re-slabbed. So far, pretty good colors. Pretty good corners. There's one roller mark or something like that that goes across there. Maybe a little too much border showing across the back. But nice card. And that sold for 36,000. 1955 Clemente in an 8. 52,000. A pretty big jump between the two players. Aaron was a better player, but Clemente is probably more popular collection-wise out there. And this is a new cert too. 5,000. Great card. And our last 4. This is the highest selling individual card. Uzit. Very tough back to find. And 54,000. I wonder how many that are graded. Very few. It doesn't tell you though. Just kind of annoying. Pretty rounded corners. A lot of creases. Man, that should be a 1 based off those creases. I mean, as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creases through this card. I mean, I get the eye appeal, but still, there's a ton of creases. Extremely tough card to find, and that's why I view scarcity over condition. But I know my opinion differs from a lot of people. All right, we have 3 sets to finish this off. 1959, and this is an 8 set. That one sold for $72,000. 19785s and essentially all 8s across the board. I wonder where it says the set ranking is. Does not say, does it? Oh, number 29 PSA registry, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. You gotta appreciate someone spending years probably to build this set together. Another 8 set, $100,000, 1957. And lastly, 1958, which is number 13. And sold for $126,000. And this is a near complete set. What card is missing? 430 Thompson, which is graded a 9. Oh, missing 78 Johnson. They couldn't find that card for this. Still, though, I would never. Well, yeah, I wouldn't have expected 58. I would have thought 57 probably would have sold for the most, just because there's so many Hall of Famers in there. I mean, just looking at it, right? Rookies, you have the 2 Robinsons, Drysdale. I have a few more Hall of Famers on this one. Bunning, Herzog. Another Hall of Famer I'm thinking. Mazeroski, that's what it was. And 58, I mean, it has the Maris, which is not a Hall of Famer, but he's in there. I'm trying to think what other rookies were in 58. Guess we'll see from this side. I think that's it for rookies. Oh, Cepeda. And 59 has your Bob Gibson. I would never guess 59 would go for less. There's all your money right there in that Bob Gibson. Well, not for this price point, but the best cards in the set. So I want to look at some more honorable mentions. I'll add some stuff and we'll talk about it. All right, so we're going to start off with this Laughlin full set. It has the Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige. These are very clean. Now, for just reference, I sold my 4-5 Josh Gibson, I want to say, for $400. And Paige isn't worth as much, but you're talking about $22.80. Someone was selling an 8 recently on Facebook for $800. So, well, I think these are really good. I think definitely someone paid a premium. I mean, it's tough to tell what this would get graded. But if you're trying to get something high grade, I would suggest you buy it already graded rather than a raw set. But even like the other commons in the set or other Negro League Hall of Famers, it still do pretty well. I mean, if you factor in $10, $20 a card, $20 card, you're at already $720. This would be a set I'd kind of want to do more math on before bidding, but probably about right price point wise. I think this is just a cool card from a little judge set. Buck Ewing with the mascot, which is the little kid. I've seen this card at the National before. Enough Said Cards used to own a copy. It was skinned on the back. And this 3, which is kind of a poor 3. If it had a better image, it would sell for a lot more. $21.60. Thought this is kind of interesting. At 39, Premium DiMaggio selling for $2,000. I don't know, it feels kind of cheap. But I don't know what these go for. Signed. This was interesting. 54 Hall of Famers, 51 through 58 collection. And you can see that you have an Alkaline rookie over there. It's probably a 1, so it's probably about $300. And you have a Bill Dickey there, another Hank Aaron, which looks like one condition, so what, 150-ish? I haven't priced it forever. Killebrew, another at least $100. I would assume in that shape. You're already at 250. You're already at like 550. I don't know what the Bill Dickey does. I'd love to see the math behind this. See where they're at. I mean, they look very low grade, but maybe it works out. I mean, you have a Drysdale there. I mean, all this stuff adds up. Ted Williams, that's probably another $100 at least. Yeah, I'd love to see the breakdown of a big lot like this. I wasn't familiar with this Bobby Jones real photo postcard. This is pretty sweet, to be honest with you. I mean, Bobby Jones has a ton of followers. So any rare Jones stuff is going to get bid up. And this one doesn't even have a picture of him. 1740. This is the 1946 Sears. These are actually pretty tough to find. I want to say that Stan Musial is in this. There's your money right there. Shundis. Minus, obviously, Musial. He's in there. And that sold for $11.70, which I don't know if that's a good price or not, but it's like a pretty rookie of him. Partial set has Dempsey in here, Jeffries. Your money's in this Joe Louis. Well, they had 2 Sugar Rays. Oh no, this is a pretty good buy. I want to say right now these Sugar Rays in this condition are 300 each, 400 each, maybe more. Oh, that's a great buy. And then you still have the Joe Louis, which looks fairly clean, which is probably another $200. How do you put Sugar Ray in the second image? He's second/third best card in the set. Here's obviously the short print, which is not going to be in the slot, but Joe Louis and Sugar Ray are the best cards in this. How do you... That was a big mistake. Wow. Great buy. River ended up picking this up. I don't know, it's kind of weird. The Topps REA. A lot of these are scratched off. So, not many people see what these look like beforehand. $810. American Indians, these are larger ones. $660. I want to see who's in here. Because there is Sitting Bull, which is a few thousand, like $1,000. I want to say, if you can find it. No Sitting Bull, but still 17 of these for $660. Probably a pretty good deal, I would think. I mean, the condition wise, paper loss and glue stains, but these are not easy to find. I would think that these would sell for probably $100 each. Someone's doing pretty well with that. This is hilarious how bad this 52 mantle is. It's like burned, wrinkled up. Like this is a type of card it'd be interesting to see a card care on. There's like, this is just, I would not own this. $660. I'm kind of grossed out going over this card, so let's keep moving forward. Royal Desserts. I think I sold this Musial once for about $250, give or take. I don't know what the Reese does. Dom DiMaggio probably sells pretty well. There's 8. So your Musial's half your money. Not many big names on the second page. Otis and Collins still do pretty well. 84 Mattingly. There's two of these that sold. There's $630 a piece. Can't be in a two. This sold for $600. I was kind of surprised with that sale. I didn't think twos were going for that. I mean, this is a clean looking two, but I would have thought this would have gone like a 2.5 or a 3. Great sale for campy rookies. So this is Canadian Grayback. And Ken Wood sold for $600. I wonder if it's like only a specific series of 52s that were the Canadians. I feel like this is the type of stuff you could find at a show and someone would know if it was on a bargain bin. I've sold a lot of T210 Old Mills, although not really second and third series. But I've had two lots. I had one lot that I got graded and one raw lot. These you kind of just have to look up comps. Some of these they don't sell in a few years, so it's tough. As just a rule of reference, when I go to card shows and I see these, I figure that commons are $40 to $50 each. So, I mean, $560 to $700, which where I'd put it. Some of these are nicer. Obviously, get them graded. They're like the T205s, very lenient on them. So, hard to say. I mean, there's a few big names in the T210s. Stengel, obviously, and Joe Jackson. But you're not finding those in that type of lot like this. They would fetch 5 to 6 figures each. Joe Jackson might. 4 Hal Chases. They look pretty clean. $510. I'm curious, like, if these were like 2s or 3s, what the breakdown would be. Oh, pink background trimmed. Pencil mark. Makes sense why they went a little cheap. This was a steal. So this Babe Didrikson, I know there's writing on this. This alone would be about $300. That's like probably $10, $20. Tooney's a bigger name. I don't know what it'd go for that shape. Londo's not a bigger name. I have a 5. Dempsey, that's probably about $100, $200, and this sold for $510. Is that a hole also in it? Oh, I didn't even see the hole. I take back my statement. But this Babe Didrikson, like in a 1, I want to say is about a $500 card by itself. Not in the shape with the hole, which I completely missed. Actually, I think this price point is probably about right for $500 for all those. I can't believe I missed the hole. Wow. Don't know much about it, but 3rd annual Rookie All-Star Team Awards. This is 61 Tops program. This is pretty cool. Billy Williams, Hall of Famer. Who else is in here? Joe Torre. It's pretty sweet. Are those only pages in here? I love this piece. It's pretty cool. And $450. Cons. So you have the Roberto Clemente in here, which looks fairly clean. I don't know what the back looks like. Who else is in here? Only that. I don't know what the Clemente does, but $420 seems kind of cheap for 10. I would assume even the commons you sell for $20, $30. I don't know what the Clemente sells for right now. Great buy, I assume. $390, the $10 a card for these T218s. Commons you can usually get about $5 each. You have the 2 Jack Johnsons, which those shapes are probably $100 each, I would assume right now. So that's $200. Jeanette, probably about $20 in that shape. Jeffries, his stuff hasn't really taken off surprisingly. Probably about $10 in that shape. Who else is in here? Gans, but pretty bad shape. At least over there, $10. Probably a pretty good buy at $390 for resale value. Higher is root beer. 8 of the 11. That's in the big names. Oh, it's a Phillies set. I'm like, I thought there was a lot more than 11 cards. Obviously, getting towards the end of the video is a little hard, but these are kind of popular from grading with SGC. You have Lincoln in here. Sells pretty well. Oh, it's the full set, so you probably have the Washington here too. $360. Probably not too bad. You could resell the commons cheap. Teddy's also pretty popular. This, I want to say, is kind of cheap. I could be wrong. The Grover Cleveland's like $100, $200 card. And you have Benjamin Harrison also, probably 100 to 200. I'm thinking. You're at $360. You still have 20 cards. Some of the commons sell out. I thought this was a lot more expensive set. But you have the two big names there, Cleveland and Harrison. And I think I'm going to end the video there unless I see something else. Old Smoker, Englishman in a 5. Big Poor Boys. And hope you guys did enjoy this. What do you guys think about the formatting, though? Like going over the top 50 and then some honorable mentions? I'm kind of liking that, but also kind of depends what the audience likes in general, and run some data and see what performs better. Doing 3 auction recaps, so kind of in this format, and we'll see how they do. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I appreciate you watching the video. All right, I'll catch you in another one.